For most of us, life after a primary career gets summed up with just one word: retirement. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if those years aren't an ending at all, but a new, really powerful beginning? So that's what we're going to dive into today, exploring a whole new vision for life after 50 and reframing it as a chapter of true purpose and freedom.
And look, this is a question that hits so many of us. And honestly, it can be kind of terrifying. You've spent decades building a career, maybe raising a family, and then, suddenly, silence. The structure you've known forever is just gone. Now that quiet can feel like a huge, empty void. Or it can be a blank canvas. And the choice between those two? It's everything.
And really, that choice, it sends you down one of two very, very different paths. Let's take a look at what those paths can look like through the real stories of two people who faced that exact moment. So on one side, you've got Dr. Dan. He did it. He achieved the dream retirement, a condo down in Miami, a cottage on the lake. But without a real purpose, that dream just curdled. The days started blurring together, his mind got dull, and his big escape ended up being a trap of isolation. But then you've got Peter Newfield. He also retired early, but a mission trip to Tanzania sparked a brand new calling. He co-founded a nonprofit and just poured his energy into this new mission, creating a legacy of impact that's now being carried on by his son and granddaughter. What a stark contrast, right? It just goes to show, purpose is everything.
This is where a really powerful idea comes in. Instead of using the word retirement, which honestly kind of sounds like a retreat, let's totally reframe this entire stage of life. Let's start calling it the freedom years.
So what are the freedom years exactly? Well, it's about flipping the script in your head. Instead of focusing on everything you're leaving behind, the job, the daily grind, it's about leaning into all the new freedoms you're gaining. The freedom of your time, the freedom of your experience, and the freedom of choice to go after what truly lights you up.
And listen, this isn't just one single event. It's more like a journey through 4 different stages of freedom. First up is limited freedom. That's kind of the empty nest phase. Then you move into extended freedom, which is when you're no longer having to work for money. After that comes helpful freedom, where you're free to ask for help as you age. And finally, there's ultimate freedom, the transition beyond this life. Each one of these stages unlocks new ways to live with purpose.
Okay, so if this is a journey, how do you actually navigate it, right? How do you make sure you're on that purposeful path and not the drifter's path? Well, it turns out there's a kind of blueprint, a secret, if you will, to unlocking a truly fulfilling life during these years. And it all kicks off with this simple but honestly profound piece of advice from Pastor Charles Price. After a health scare, his doctor told him, look for what gives you energy and do more of that. This is the whole guiding principle. See, purpose isn't some chore you have to do. It's the very source of your energy. So this big idea breaks down into a really simple 3-part blueprint. First, you got to rediscover your unique purpose and vision. Ask yourself, why am I really here? Second, activate your talents and strengths. What are you just naturally good at? And third, be intentional about investing in people and relationships, because finding your purpose is almost never a solo mission. Let's just dig into that second point for a second, the one about talents. We all have talents, right? Things we're just naturally good at. But talent by itself isn't really enough to make a big impact. Real strength? Well, that's what happens when you take that raw talent and you add knowledge and skills and experience to it. The formula is actually super simple. Your talent plus focused effort equals true strength.
All right, that third piece of the puzzle is all about people, your social energy. It's a finite resource, so you have to invest it wisely. Think of it like a relationship portfolio. You've got your important people. These are the partners who build you up. Then you have your teachable people. Those are the folks you can mentor and pour into. And finally, you've got the draining people. The key is to be intentional. Spend as much time as you can with the first 2 and really carefully limit your exposure to the third. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but isn't it a little late for me? The answer? Absolutely not. Not even close. In fact, some of the greatest achievements in all of history came from people who were deep in their freedom years.
Just think about this number for a second. 80. That's how old Moses was when God called him to lead his people out of Egypt. His most significant, world-changing work began at an age when most people would think it's all over.
And he is not alone, not by a long shot. I mean, just think about this. Benjamin Franklin helping draft the Declaration of Independence at 70. Michelangelo designing St. Peter's Basilica at 74. Grandma Moses starting her legendary painting career at 78. Nelson Mandela becoming president at 75. And get this, Fauja Singh ran a full marathon at 100 years old. Your potential doesn't just fade away, it just changes form.
And listen, it's not just these giants of history. Take a guy named Ernest Lafont. After a long, full life, his health started to decline. But at age 97, he started a whole new ministry right from his home, writing encouragement cards to people in his community. He served faithfully in that new purpose right up until he passed away at 100. Wow, it's just never, ever too late to make your impact.
So, all of this, it brings us to a final and really important idea. Living with purpose in your freedom years isn't just about feeling good day to day. It's about how you finish. It's about the legacy you leave behind. Okay, now here's an idea that might sound a little backwards at first. All that practical planning for the end of your life, getting your affairs in order, making your wishes known, it's not actually for you. It's actually the greatest gift, the kindest thing you can do for the people you love. By making those tough decisions now, you spare them from having to make impossible, emotional choices during a time of grief. It's a final, profound act of love and care.
So that's where we'll leave it. Your freedom years are a blank canvas. They can be a time of just drifting along, or they can be a time of deep, incredible, meaningful purpose. You can leave behind a legacy of confusion and chaos, or a legacy of clarity and love. The choice is yours. What will you build? What will your legacy be?